Okay, so you know when you're scrolling on social media and you come across a video on your timeline and it's like healing related and somebody's confidently expressing how they have been able to overcome people pleasing, or it's just a video about maybe wounds that we develop from childhood and tendencies that we develop from childhood, and a part of you feels a little bit fucking triggered because you cannot relate to the fact that you have overcome that. You're probably still working on maybe overcoming people pleasing or overcoming your fear of expressing yourself and speaking your mind, and you feel triggered and even a little bit ashamed. And in those moments, you kind of are moving the goalpost of being able to love and accept yourself. You feel like it's another thing that you need to further work on or fix about yourself. And you feel ashamed for having people pleasing tendencies, for feeling afraid of speaking your mind. Or you look at your life and where you're at in your journey now and you just aren't living authentically or being your authentic self. Or to further summarize, you feel ashamed of who you have had to become as a means to survive the environments that you grew up in. And in these moments, we might not even know it, but we are identifying with these parts of ourselves, with these versions of ourselves that are afraid of being ourselves, that are afraid of disappointing people, that are afraid of speaking our mind and expressing ourselves. We think that's who we are, and we think that's all we are. And when we are already viewing ourselves through a biased lens of shame and criticism, and we view these aspects and these versions and these parts of ourselves as bad and something to change, something to fix, as a means to be worthy of love and acceptance, we think that's all we are. And we further identify and further perpetuate this belief that we are unlovable, that we are unworthy, and that there is something wrong with us. And so oftentimes we try to approach overcoming these fears and overcoming people pleasing with forcing ourselves to change, thinking that we need to change. Telling ourselves, I have to stop people pleasing. I have to speak up for myself. I have to set boundaries. I have to stop thinking these thoughts. I have to stop feeling shame. I have to start to be authentic. I should be authentic. I should be doing this. I have to, right? And so when we put this pressure on ourselves, everything feels so intense and it feels like everything's on the line. And so when we're faced with an opportunity to set a boundary and we don't do it, we in our minds are like, oh no, you couldn't do it, because we're operating from shame. We are trying to get ourselves to change from a place of shame, and it's so easy to internalize this shame and this demonization of people pleasing tendencies because of the video